10 animals that asked for help. In general, animals and people tend to dislike one another. Sometimes people do small, selfless acts that make us believe in mankind again. Animals continue to trust humans despite their daily heinous acts. After all, a human being could be the last line of defense for a helpless kitten or a once feral animal that has now become a victim. A question remains though, will that person have the courage to help? To find out the solution, you'll have to watch these animals that asked people for help through to the end. We've compiled 10 touching examples of wild creatures reaching out to people for assistance when they feel hopeless. Number 10. Elephant mom crying for help. In Thailand, a baby elephant got stuck in a concrete hole. The baby was stuck inside and the mother was trying her hardest to help. The elephant's distress call attracted the attention of some humans who eventually deciphered her attempt at communication. The mother fainted after getting too close to an electrified fence. The humans rushed to cut the electricity and assist her. They finally understood the elephant's motives at this time. Once she regained consciousness, she directed rescuers to where her baby had become entrapped. The small elephant was stuck in the muck for hours. It was not an easy rescue. The mother elephant watched as the gang freed the infant from the trap. The infant collected the energy to climb out of the hole, and upon seeing its mother, it sprinted in her direction. 9. A tiny baby seal stuck between rocks. The OCN team was on patrol at Cape Cross when they heard a sound and discovered this newborn seal pup wedged between two rocks. Although seals are adept at tunneling under rocks, this one was lodged too deeply for it to escape. As the rocks are made of granite, they can't be relocated. The rescuers attempt to move the seal's head in both forward and backward directions. Unfortunately, despite the best efforts, this does not appear to be productive. A pole is used to try to move the rock, but it remains in place. The pup appears to be relaxed, which helps the rescue workers. The men resort to grabbing the puppy by the mouth and pushing him forward, while the other men grab him from behind and do the same. Finally, able to free itself from the rocks, the puppy rushes toward the beach in search of its mother. 8. Kangaroo rescued from freezing water. A kangaroo was in trouble, so 2 kind Samaritans jumped into a cold lake to save it. 2 people were filmed on Tuesday morning in Canberra's Lake Burley Griffin gently approaching a terrified animal that was standing in the water. The animal was shaking and seemed tired. It was also frantically waving its arms as they got closer. Still, the men were resolved to save the kangaroo, so they carefully hauled it out of the water. They carried the kangaroo through the icy water, and a bystander lent a hand when they reached the dry land. A third man held the animal's hands and rubbed its body gently to calm it. The rescued animal appeared grateful by nuzzling the hands of all 3 rescuers and clasping them to its head after being removed from the water. 7. A leopard tangled in wire. In India, locals found a large male leopard caught in the barbed wire that had been placed to secure the area. The leopard was tranquilized after forest officials assessed the situation. The large cat, though, was quite hostile and kept trying to break away. The unfortunate animal's mouth was pouring with blood when he bit the wire. The leopard was only partially unconscious after being tranquilized. The rescuers still came up to him, though, carrying a snare, a towel, and a net. They wrapped the noose around his neck and covered his face with a towel rapidly. The semi-conscious leopard was set to go at last. After it was set free, the leopard, a male weighing more than 80 kilograms or 176.37 pounds, required the combined might of 6 people to move. The harmed animal was then placed in a cage and transported to a rehabilitation facility. The huge cat was medicated and monitored for a full day. After that, he was released back into the wild. 6. Deadly snake trapped. While roaming a water chamber in India, locals came across a snake trapped there. It's estimated this miserable viper spent at least a month without food or drink in a subterranean water chamber before being rescued. The snake suffered from malnutrition, pain, and extreme anguish. Even though the viper is extremely poisonous, the rescuers gave the snake the water it sorely required. The snake sipped from its rescuer's water bottle without showing any signs of aggression. 5. A crocodile in despair. Locals on the island of Sulawesi refer to this long crocodile as buaya kalungban, which translates to crocodile with a tire necklace. In 2016, people first noticed the croc, and since then, local conservationists have tried twice unsuccessfully to capture the animal and remove the tire. Crocodiles have been spotted many times on the shore, perhaps waving for help. The crocodile was captured on February 7th by a 35-year-old local guy named Tilly, who utilized a makeshift trap of rope connected to a log with live chickens and ducks as bait. For 3 weeks, Tilly had followed the crocodile's trail, and at least 2 separate times he had come close to capturing his target. Finally, he was able to free the beast. 4. Koala in wildfire. In 2019, a devastating wildfire swept over Australia, taking the lives of countless creatures along the way. But occasionally, a remarkable act like this makes us believe in human and animal compassion again. 9 News Australia posted the video on Tuesday showing the koala going into the flames before a woman wrapped him in the shirt off her back and doused him with water from a bottle. Darty claims that the koala could be heard shouting for rescue as it made its way into the flames. Her maternal instincts compelled her to leap into the blaze and save the koala. She used it to get him to the koala hospital in Port Macquarie. Unfortunately, the hospital chose to put the koala to sleep because of the severe burns it had sustained. 3. A humpback whale rescue. Australia has put up dozens of fish nets to protect locals from sharks. A baby humpback whale was discovered trapped in one of the nets. A resident was strolling down the coast when he saw the whale's odd behavior. Upon closer inspection, he understood the whale's distress call and rushed to its aid. The whale's mother never went far from their side. Because it knew others were trying to help, it didn't panic. The rescue workers began working to free the net. It took over 40 minutes to completely cut the shark net and liberate the calf. Numerous injuries were sustained by the calf. However, none were fatal. 2. Goat stuck on the electric lines. Goats, like this one in Greece, are a prime example of the absurd situations into which animals can put themselves. The goat's horns became entangled in a utility line, and he was soon left helplessly dangling in the air. Fortunately for the animal, several good-hearted people heard about its suffering and went to work attempting to help it. Unfortunately, there were some significant obstacles to overcome. With no direct access to the goat, the group first utilized a long ladder to gently coax it up the slope. He was so high up that they had to climb into a parked van to get to him. When the goat came within striking distance, the rescuers were able to reach up and snare him by the leg with a rope. Now that they had him within grasping distance, they could free him from the wire. A successful outcome resulted from their efforts. Finally, the goat was able to roam freely. How'd the goat get there? That will remain a mystery. And number 1, an elk stuck in the mud. This is a really bad situation. The elk is stuck in the mud and is making a distress call. Thankfully, some passing rangers heard the distressed elk and came to its aid. This elk, which weighs 800 pounds, is not easy to save. Who knows how long the animal had been locked in here, but he's already weak from the cold. Unfortunately, the elk does not have much time left. The elk may turn on them at any time, making the work extremely risky and challenging. In the beginning, the men attempted to move the elk by hand. They tried different approaches without success. They have to use a block of wood to wedge the animal out since it's too large. The animal snaps and strikes the man in the leg out of aggression. At long last, saviors arrive with a foolproof strategy. They tied a rope to one of the deer's antlers. One man yanked on the rope as the other pulled it free with a log. The elk is now well and free after a long ordeal. This ends our video for today. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel to see more interesting animal videos. See you next time.